guys, so today I wanted to talk about boundaries and rejection, and this will probably be a multi-part video because I am almost to work and I don't want to I want to let it flow, I guess you could say. So I wanted to tell a couple of stories about times that I've been put in somebody's boundary or outside of somebody's boundary, plus the ways that I have put people outside of my boundaries. I think boundaries are a part of life. It just is what it is. Sometimes you have to put people outside of your boundaries, whether you love them or not. Just depends on the relationship. So, quick story. I'm going to try to be quick about this so that I'm not boring the hell out of you. But I was adopted at 3.5, somewhere around there. And about 5-6 years ago, I met my half-sister. I was right in the middle on my mom's side. My mom had 5 kids. And there was 2 girls younger than me, and then me and a girl and a boy older than me. I've met all but the sister older than me, the half-sister. So, but we are friends on Facebook. Anyway, about 5 years ago, I met this half-sister that's just younger than me. And we hit it off, I thought, really, really well. We're a lot alike. When I had first added her on Facebook, but I kind of we hadn't really interacted, so I didn't really pay much attention to her being on my Facebook. And one day I'm scrolling through my feed, and I see a picture of myself in black and white with I looked at the picture and I was like, I don't remember that picture being taken. And I looked at it a couple more times and I'm like, I do not, I was racking my brain. I could not remember this picture being taken of me. And then I happened to scroll up a little bit and see that it was her picture that she posted. And I was blown away. I didn't even know that wasn't me. That's how much we look alike sometimes. Pretty mind-boggling when you don't even recognize yourself, or you think that somebody else is you, because they look enough alike like you. Anyway, so we met 5-ish years ago and hit it off really well, and we sound alike, we laugh alike. My stepdad that's known me since I was 14, if the lighting isn't bright, he couldn't tell us apart. My own children, if one of us said something, they couldn't tell who was talking. We had a telepathic connection for a while that we could feel each other's an empathic telepathic connection, I guess you could say, because we're both very empathetic. And we talked all the time, over text and yada yada yada. Anyway, it was finding a part of myself that I never knew existed. It was pretty amazing. To have somebody that got me to that level, to that depth, because we are similar enough. So that was pretty fucking amazing. Well, about a year ago, I had started noticing that I was making comments on her pictures on Facebook and I wasn't getting any answers. So finally I said on one of the pictures, I was like, hey, are you mad at me? Is something going on? And she basically retorted that I am like the rest of the family, the biological family, that she has already rejected long ago. And I'm just like them, and she has no interest in, really being a part of my life. And don't take it personal. And, so basically she was like, hey, I don't, in my interpretation, she didn't want to be a part of my life anymore. And to be honest, I was really, really heartbroken. I didn't see it coming at all. And had no idea that anything was wrong. I wish that she would have come to me much sooner when she started feeling the feelings that she was feeling about our interactions. And, we could have talked about it way sooner, and you know, like she pointed out to me that I'm passive aggressive, and honestly I had no idea even what passive aggressive meant at that point. So I wish that she would have come to me sooner and said, you know, hey, you're being really passive aggressive, it makes me uncomfortable, I'm feeling like, you know, yada yada yada, and I could have tried to correct some of it. And then, you know, if it wasn't enough, then okay, so be it. But I wasn't really given that chance. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to park. I wasn't really given that chance. It was just like out of nowhere. So at first I was really heartbroken, and I basically begged to be able to stay in her life. And the answers I was getting was very cold, you know, and yeah, so I cried for about 2 or 3 days, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me that I had been trying since the day I met her to fit into her little box, because she made it very clear from day one. There's something on my eyelash. She made it very clear from day one that, you know, she was very picky about who she kept in her life, and I was different, and not anybody could just be in her life. So I had been trying since day one to make sure that I fit into that box, and everything I had done, a good majority of everything I did for the next several years, was subconsciously I was, you know, trying to align with what I thought that was, and doing things that I could then report to her that I had done good and wait for an atta girl, you know. And that was kind of the nature of our relationship for a while, you know, in the grand general scheme of things. And so after about the 3rd day of crying, it dawned on me that that's, you know, I had been spending all of my time trying to be accepted by her. And I stopped begging for another chance, and I was like, you know what? You're right. This relationship is not healthy. It's not good for either of us. You know, you feel how you feel, and I don't agree. And we kind of agreed to disagree, and I wished her well, and, you know, see ya. So now looking back on it over a year later, I still miss her a lot. Like a lot. And I think about, you know, so many times things come up that I'm like, oh, you know, something I would have texted her about or whatever. But she's doing her own thing, first of all. And second of all, I have come to the conclusion that she had a very traumatic childhood. I was taken away before she was born, and the 2 youngest girls lived with her for like the first 10 years, 8-10 years. And they had a very traumatic childhood. And I think that she'd already cut everybody else out except for me, and I was the last remaining string to that past. And I think that whether consciously or subconsciously, she needed to cut that string in order for her to feel like she could move on and put the past behind her and really, you know, be separate from that, because she needs to be separate from that past. I think that's where she was coming from to some degree. And when I had that realization, I was like, all right, I get it. You know, I do that to people all the time. People that I've met along the way and over the years that remind me of a time that I was very unhappy or had, you know, bad memories. I cut them out because I don't want to be reminded of it every time I talk to them. It depresses me. It brings me down. It's very overwhelming and causes me anxiety, and I don't have time to deal with that, so I cut them out. And I get that. I guess I thought being half sisters that would be like a null and void boundary. Like, we're sisters. We're not just random people that we met. But I guess in a sense we are, you know. So that was a time that I was put out of a boundary. And looking back, I'm thankful and I'm grateful, and I still wish her the best. And, you know, whatever she's doing, I hope that she's happy, because that's what I want most for her in her life. And I think even still, that's what she wants most for me, is for me to be happy. And that's just how it's going to have to be, you know. It is what it is, and I hope that she knows that I truly am okay with it. I hope that she misses me a little bit too, but I hope that she knows that I am truly okay with it, and I understand. And I will love her till the day I die, and wish for her most happiness and her, you know, absolute, not even just happiness, like, I hope for her to be blissful, you know, like, to be so exuberantly happy that she can't even, like, contain it. And I think she is. And if that, you know, meant having to cut me out of her life, then so be it. I would have done that for her if I had known that's what she needed. I'd have been like, cool, I'm walking away, you know? So don't always, like, attack people when they cut you out of their life. Sometimes, you know, hindsight is 20/20. And there's a bigger picture, even if they don't know what it is necessarily. But don't automatically attack, and don't beg for the relationship to continue. Be understanding enough and open-minded enough and aware enough that if somebody is putting a boundary up and saying, I don't want you a part of my life anymore, or however they do it, hopefully it's not super hurtful. But, you know, have the maturity to be like, all right, that's cool. You know, I love you, I wish you well, whatever the case may be, and not attack, you know. And I'm glad I was able to do that. I'm proud of myself, and I hope that that was helpful for her, for me to not continue to beg and to not bother her. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that situation for me in my life, and, you know, give people a little food for thought about, if you're put out of somebody's boundary, like, to really just sit back and think and be okay with it, because there's a reason. Even if they don't understand it fully, there's probably a very good reason, and there are thousands of people in this world that you can connect with. You know, it might take a while to find some, but it'll be okay. Your life won't end because somebody put you out of a boundary. I promise. There's plenty of things to do, plenty of people to meet. You know, your life's not going to end. So that's it for this one. I'm going to have to tell the next story next time, because I'm already at 13 minutes and I want to smoke a cigarette before I go into work. So I will tell the other story about the couple that I met when I first got to Minnesota. Kind of met. And we'll talk about that another time. All right, bye.